what's the purpose of a character roster in a roguelike? I'd say it's mostly replayability. Having different character choices really helps add more playstyle expression, diversity and replayability. Not every roguelike needs to have multiple characters. Some games don't have them at all and still manage to be fun and replayable. Even then, they'll still find some other type of choice you make before a run that will have an impact on how you play. With that said, arguably the most important part of a character roster are the starter characters, those who are unlocked at the beginning of the game. They are the ones that you will learn the game from and unlock the rest of the roster with. I'm bored and have nothing to do besides playing modern Minecraft and procrastinating, so let's discuss a bunch of roguelike starting characters and maybe even put them on a little cute chart at the end. Let's take someone who's pretty much the mascot of roguelikes at this point. Isaac from Hit came Binding of Isaac. No, not that Binding of Isaac, I mean Rebirth, or, well, Repentance. Fuck. On a fresh save file, Isaac starts out with no items and perfectly average stats in every regard. Health, range, damage and everything. That sets out a good trend that a lot of roguelikes will follow. If there's nothing too interesting about a character, they're great to learn the mechanics with. But then how do you make it worth playing as them after you've learned the game? Well, Isaac's approach is to give him a dice. Once you progress enough in the game, he starts with the D6, which allows you to reroll items you find. This makes him a really solid character for replayability, especially since item bloat is one of Isaac's biggest problems, so being able to mitigate it a bit by rerolling bad items makes it more fun to replay, making Isaac a good character that's both great to learn the game with and fun to replay. Sometimes a character can still be fun hundreds of hours in even when you're basic. Take Crypt of the NecroDancer for example and its main protagonist, Cadence. She's average in every regard when it comes to gameplay, 3 hearts and starts with a dagger. The only special thing you can say about her is the fact that she's one of the story characters, meaning she has her own unique final boss fights. Unlike in Isaac, there is no meta progression here, so she's always the most basic character with nothing going on for her. And it works extremely well for NecroDancer, because in this game, every character has a gimmick attached to them, whether it's being locked to a unique weapon, playing the game with a double tempo, or being able to attack using only bombs. Each character has some sort of gimmick, regardless of whether that gimmick makes the game easier or harder. This makes Cadence a great option for long-time players who want to just have a chill, normal experience of the game. My friend over here did every single achievement in the game and then proceeded to get a 372 win streak as Cadence, so clearly there's something the game does right. She's also a clinically insane psychopath, but that's besides the point. Crypt has another starting character though, and it's Bard. He's fine as a practice character, since he disables the beat of the game and makes everything move along with you. It's really fine for learning, but like, even ignoring the fact that the rhythm is so core to the game and it's just way less fun without it in most cases, they also added no beat mode as a toggleable game mode for literally every character. So like, Bard is literally just Cadence with 1 heart less and no unique final bosses. Another example of a game that
You forgot about Reaper.
What?
I said you forgot about Reaper.
Fuck!
Hi, I'm Screw, and I'm slowly going insane because I'm starting to grind code a low percent.
Okay, Reaper is a character who was originally exclusive to the Nintendo Switch port of the game, but they were ported over to the Steam ports when the Synchrony DLC came out. Their whole thing is collecting enemy souls and using them for combat, which is a gimmick that is fine. It's not bad, I just don't care about it. What I do care about is the fact that they're literally the only character in the entire game who don't have any downsides compared to Cadence. Only one. They start with the same items, the same health. No other character does that. Every single character that's easier than Cadence has some downside, whether it's less health for being locked out of certain items mechanics. They have some downside. Reaper has like 6 items blocked out of their item pool, which is way too unimpactful to be considered a downside. You also very likely won't even notice it. I'm really unreasonably angry over this, but it genuinely pisses me off that out of all the 18 characters that aren't Cadence, they're the only one to break this design philosophy. I am not talking about the DLC characters, please leave me alone. There are other examples of games that give you multiple characters to pick from at the start. Nuclear Throne is an example of such game. When you start a new save file, the characters you have available at the start are Fish and Crystal. Fish is a pretty alright character who can roll around and find more ammo for weapons. He's nothing too crazy, but a pretty fun character all around. The game has a leveling system where if you reach the max possible level, you get to pick an Ultra mutation, which are usually powerful upgrades specific to the character. Fish's Ultras are pretty solid choices, both of which help out with ammo management. While you eventually reach a point where ammo management isn't really an issue at all, they can heavily help out in earlier loops, and this still definitely adds some power to him, making Fish a very fun, albeit off-meta pick. Crystal, on the other hand, is literally the best character in the game, and I don't know what idea it was to make her unlocked from the start. She has more health, her active lets her block projectiles, and both her ultras increase her already insane defense. Overall, she's an amazing character, but pretty bad to learn the game with, considering her insane defensive capabilities. These choices pretty much sum up Nuclear Throne as a game. Extremely fun, albeit with major flaws. If you want a game with more similar choices, an example would be Risk of Rain 2. I am not talking about Returns, sorry, I'm not experienced enough with it. Commando is a basic little fella with low damage rapid fire attacks, a piercing blast, a dodge and a stunning concentrated fire. Unlocks give him access to a shotgun, a slide and grenades. He's pretty basic and overall on the weaker side of characters, however he's still very good because all Risk of Rain characters are good. He's pretty good to learn all of the basic mechanics with, and if you're experienced, you can make really efficient and powerful builds. Pro tip, just stack Tri-tip daggers and watch everything bleed to death. As for Huntress, she's much more nimble, being able to sprint while attacking, having homing shots as her primary, a ricocheting glaive as her secondary, can teleport around and take an arrow rain in an area. Unlocks give her a combo shot for her primary that shoots more arrows that deal less damage, replace her long teleport with much shorter ones with a faster cooldown and turn the arrow rain into a powerful long-range ballista shot. I'm not as experienced with her as I am with Commando, but honestly, to me the characters have pretty similar playstyles and benefit the most from similar items. Huntress is definitely way more agile and better for dodging, and also has better crowd control, but her single target damage isn't as good in my opinion. I would honestly place them pretty much next to each other. They are both fantastic characters to learn the game with, and have great potential you can unlock with knowledge and experience of the game. Completely unrelated, Dead Essay is a really good game, and believe me, there are more than 2 reasons why. Jules is agile, has lower health and wields a shotgun as her starter, meanwhile Jeff is slower, tankier and holds a shotgun. Both of them are basic and simple enough to learn the game well with, but I personally like Jules more because I'm a huge sucker for shotguns. I really like how the game chooses its starting characters for the no weapons and no items achievements. I think they're great picks for such challenges. There are a lot of character specific achievements in the game, so I will definitely have lots of reasons to replay them. Huh? What's that? Enter now! Fuck, that's cringe. I'm keeping this. I don't care how cringe this is, I'm keeping this. Enter the Gungeon has not 1, not 2, not 3, but in fact 4 starting characters! There's Pilot, Convict, Marine and Hunter. Side note, why did they never gender her name correctly in the English version but correct it in certain translations? I don't know, it really bothers me. Marine is often considered a beginner's best friend character, starting with some armor, a pretty good sidearm, better accuracy and reload speed, as well as one supply drop to refill any weapon you find. He's very friendly to learn the game with, but once you're better at the game, he's not really too interesting to replay. Not a bad choice, but pretty bland. Convict is a character that exists. I don't like her. Her sidearm is bad. Her Molotov active is okay. Her passive is a good consolation prize for getting hit. You should avoid getting hit as much as possible, but if you do, it's a nice damage boost. Her shotgun is decent. I definitely don't have an objective view on her, but I just don't like her. Hunter is a great character. She has no starting active. However, she has a dog. Therefore, she is the best. Because dog. Okay, for real though, the dog is great, it helps you find more pickups like keys or hearts, while also barking at mimics. Pretty nifty for beginners who can't tell them apart from real chests. You still have to figure out pedestals or wall mimics on your own, but those are much rarer. Her starting sidearm is on the better side of starting weapons, and her crossbow is a pretty good weapon early on that, while easily falls off on later floors, has some great synergies that can potentially make it work later in the game. Overall, she's a pretty great character to learn the game with and decent to play for more experienced players. Pilot is my favorite character in this game and I don't care what anyone says. His starting sidearm is not the best, however, he makes up for it with 2 really good passives and a great active. cheaper shops, more ammo for weapons, more active item slots, and
Let's go gambling!
fuck, this joke is outdated. I don't even find it that good. Ragstick has way better jokes. His active lockpicks are fuck. His active lockpicks are a 50-50 gamble of either opening a lock for free or locking it from ever being opened at all. Pilot is not an easy character to learn. His mediocre gun makes him a huge turn off for a lot of players, but his passives are insanely helpful, and the lockpick is genuinely insane once you learn when to and when not to use it. Pilot is another example of a certain character who's not that good for beginners while being insanely good for someone better at the game. There are more games I could throw into this video, but at this point you probably get the idea. Most of these characters are generally simple and basic while trying to be friendly and welcoming to new players. It's always fun replaying basic characters with newfound knowledge and trying to make the most out of their kits. Oh yeah, and I mentioned a chart, here it is! On one axis we have how good they are for learning the game with, and on the other we have how worth they are to play as even after you've unlocked more characters and learned to play the game better. I think it should be pretty clear and readable. Happy New Year, my nerds! Now please don't bother me until I'm done listening to all the 1505 songs on my playlist in order. His active lockpicks are a 50-50 gamble of either medium... Fuck! Gambling! I love gambling! Fuck, I don't know if I'm keeping this in the video. Oh my god.